And this initiative is part of an ongoing campaign to ensure that one, our people are adequately updated on developments within our country, but also, and very importantly, that the people of Guyana and Guyanese are not spectators to the transformation taking place, but rather we want them to be drivers, to be leaders and key beneficiaries of the progress and the transformation and the development and the prosperity that is taking place in our country. And that is the context within which we're doing the job fair here in the Diaspora, starting here in New York. And I was asked a question by a university student in Georgetown when he saw that we were doing a job fair in New York. And the question was, what about Guyanese living in Guyana? And I reminded him that on a daily and even on a weekly basis, companies are undertaking recruitment. Companies are advertising. I spoke to one company from GBTI and I think the Vihari Group. They have immediately 100 and close to 125 or 150 vacancies that they cannot find people in Georgetown. And that is why they decided to come out into the diaspora. They've advertised, they've undertaken a number of recruitment activities. And that is the same for many other companies. We've done a study with the International Office of Migration about a year and a half ago. And currently there is work taking place by an Indian expert within the Ministry of Labor in terms of assessing what truly are the skills needed, what are the gaps we have, in which sector, and perhaps what other strategies we can undertake to fill that gap, that skills need and that gap. And the number they came out was in the vicinity of 100,000 persons. And that was a year and a half ago. But what is taking place, you heard what Dr. Ramtru said, what Mrs. Singh said for the PFC, and the number of projects, and the number of, not only from the government side, but from the private sector, that certainly has exceeded. So that was my answer. And so for those who might be asking, well, why it is are we coming to the diaspora and undertaking and supporting the private sector? Because this is a private sector effort in the true sense. We are mainly facilitating and helping in organizing it. But why we're doing it is because we do not have this resident skills and capacity to ensure that the transformation and the pace at which the president and the people of Guyana want the country to go, we do not have the people right now in Guyana to do that. And why it is that should we sit back and allow, and we don't have a problem with that, and to allow non-Guyanese to be recruited to fill those, when we could at least make a very deliberate effort, a very conscious effort, and a very sustained effort in going to the diaspora where our Guyanese live. And they're in excess of 1 million in the global diaspora, whether it's in the US, in Canada, in the Caribbean, in South America. This is a deliberate effort, of course, to ensure not only Guyanese living, but we're able to tap Guyanese outside of Guyana to come back and to take up the jobs, the opportunities, and to look at as playing their part in moving our country forward. We have in Guyana today, and people who are involved particularly in the service and the construction sector will tell you, we have, because of the political crisis in Venezuela, we have in excess of 30,000 Venezuelans in Guyana. And were it not for their input and their support, many of the projects would not be undertaken. So why it is should we not make a very aggressive push to go to the diaspora and ensure that they too come back and to play their part in the development of our country? And we wanted to use this job fair too as a way to energize, excite, motivate, and to get interested the second and the third generation. And the many areas is vast. No longer is our country limited in terms of scope and opportunities in the traditional areas, but in new areas. And we're now at a point in time where there will be, take for instance, there's one area called Wales where the gas energy project will be terminating there. And that entire area will be used to develop a number of industries, spin-off industries for the oil and gas sector. And this requires very, it's not I'm going to say sophisticated, but very specialized types of skills too. And it is an area too in which our second and third generation can also get involved. So this job fair here is about us ensuring, one, that our people living outside of Guyana, they see the opportunities that exist. They see that we are serious about engaging and involving them in the development. But also I want to make it quite clear that people living in Guyana, these opportunities are there for them to take. These opportunities are available every day. And so it is not a case in which we are exercising any preference, but rather we are going as far, as wide, as deep in getting Guyanese more involved in the transformation and the development of our country. And just starting in the United States is also very strategic, because the US is one of our key, and in fact is our main key strategic partner. It is our largest trading partner. It is also the country that has the largest private investment in our country. And for many reasons, not only geopolitical, in terms of what the values that we share and how it is that we work together, both at the multilateral sphere as well as what we do bilaterally in a number of programs. Just recently we had the first ever strategic dialogue with the United States in which we identified what are the areas we will work together in going forward. But we identified that commercial ties will be very central and very important. And so starting in the United States is key because it recognizes, it emphasizes, and points to the fact that Guyana and the United States share a very strategic, strong, and very lasting partnership. And it is important too that we not only get Guyanese involved in the development, but also US businesses. Guyanese own US businesses, but US own businesses in the United States to get them involved in our development and what's taking place in our country. And Guyana needs every single hand on deck. Every single Guyanese must see that they owe it to their country, but also owe it to their own prosperity, their own development, their own well-being in playing a part in the development of our country.